What's up everybody, my name's Phil from Grace, and in this video today, I'm here to talk to you about things that you should probably know if you're new to streaming or if you haven't even started yet. For a little bit of context, if you are new around here and you don't know who I am, I have been streaming since 2015. I've been making YouTube videos since 2012. So I've been doing this for a long time and I just have so much knowledge and experience in my brain that I want to share. These are things that I've learned over literally a decade of making content and probably more relevant for people that are relatively new to the space. But even if you are a streamer that's been doing it for a while, hopefully you'll find these helpful. Now, the first tip that I'm going to give you is not even necessarily something to do with physically streaming, but it is going to help kickstart your beginning. There are a ton of streamers out there that struggle to get any viewers whatsoever besides maybe them and their friend. And this can make things like achieving affiliate really difficult. An easy way to make your start on Twitch or wherever you're going to be streaming so much easier is already being a part of a community. Now, this does not mean go into streamers' chats and self-promo and be like, hey, I'm going to go stream now, because that is so obvious and so transparent and is an absolute no-go. But from my experience as a community leader, there are so many people within my chat and within my community that have started streaming themselves. And with a little nudge and a little bit of support, they've instantly gotten to affiliate the first week. Building a connection with a community is going to make people genuinely interested in your life and you as a person. So it's pretty likely that people around you will find out naturally that you're going to start streaming, and you can go from there. Joining a team can be massively beneficial as well. I personally have a team called Team Equality that I started in June 2021, and we have boosted people from affiliate and beyond. If you can find a team or a cluster of people that may be starting streaming around the same time as you have around the same numbers, then you can absolutely link up with those people, help each other out, support each other, and you're on your way. But I cannot reiterate it enough that it does not mean to go into other people's chats, Discords, Twitters, and tell them that I'm going to become a streamer or I'm going to go stream now. If you think you're being subtle, I can tell you that we've seen it all. And another way to connect with other streamers is to raid. You may feel self-conscious about raiding with only a couple of people. So I would probably recommend raiding other people that are also only on a couple of viewers, so that you and your community coming into that chat makes quite an impact. Because say, for example, you have 2 viewers, they have 2 viewers, you have literally doubled their viewership. And I would also only recommend raiding if you have a little bit of time to hang out and have a chat. If you can put in 5-10 minutes of effort going into that person's chat, having a little bit of chatter with them and getting to know them, asking questions, not just talking about yourself, it makes a massive difference. If you do need to raid and run, at least let the person know so you can come in and say, hey, look, I streamed a little bit longer than I was planning and I'm running late. I'm going to take off, but it was lovely to see you and hope you have a great stream. A little goes a long way, and I think it's a much nicer first impression if you're leaving your audience there, but you're letting the person know that you're not there to chat. Because it can be kind of awkward as the streamer when someone has literally just raided and you ask, how was your stream? What were you up to? And they don't answer because they've already left. It just leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth. I totally understand that people have to raid and run sometimes, but at least let it be known if that's what you're doing. The second piece of advice that I'll give is to choose your mods and your VIPs very carefully. These 2 roles in particular are basically what set the tone for your entire community. People that are brand new to your community are going to look to the mods and the VIPs for the expected conduct. Your mods especially are so important because they actually have control and power over your stream. So make sure that they are very trustworthy people. It's much better in the beginning to have to moderate yourself to a degree than mod someone and have to have the very awkward conversation of unmodding someone. Trust me, I've been there and you don't want to deal with it. VIPs obviously don't have any power per se, they don't have any moderation controls, but they definitely do have a bit of clout. They have a little badge in the chat being like, hey, this person is a shining example of what I like in this community, so choose wisely. It's definitely much better to be careful with assigning these roles. I know it may be exciting once you get them, being able to dish them out, but feelings do get hurt if you need to retract them. One thing I will tack onto this piece of advice as well is have a very clear set of rules. A lot of people aren't going to read them, but some people do actually go to the effort to read that before they start interacting in the chat. So make sure they are clear and concise. This also helps in the situations where someone does need to be timed out or banned. You have your rules set there very clear and you can tell them exactly what rule they violated. As much as it would be lovely to say that these rules stop people from breaking them, it absolutely does and will happen to you a lot. So it gives you a bit more of a leg to stand on when you have it there written in text. My third piece of advice would be that you don't have to have all of the best gear from the get-go. I know what it's like to look around at other people's setups and think, oh my God, they have everything that I want. I'm gonna try and just go and get everything before I start streaming. But honestly, I'm just gonna put it bluntly, your first few months, even maybe a year of your content is gonna be shit. I look back at the first 4 or 5 years of my YouTube videos and cringe. It's not something you're gonna be great at from the get-go unless you are some kind of streaming prodigy. You're gonna suck and it's gonna take a long time to find your feet. So rather than waiting until everything is in place and everything is perfect, just go for it. So what's the worst that could happen? If you are going to invest in one piece of tech, please make it a good microphone. Now, I don't want to make these videos branded in any way. I just want it to be you and me chatting, or me chatting at you, I suppose, and you listening about my streaming experience and what I've learned and trying to help you out. But there is a microphone that exists that is $99 USD that has an insane output. So if you can invest in one thing, I would recommend making it your mic. For me, when I'm scrolling through Twitch trying to find some new people to raid, the audio quality is number one. If I click on a stream and it's a headset mic and it's scratchy and it doesn't sound good, I'm gone. I don't even mind if your camera is like a little bit fuzzy or stuttery. Honestly, if the gameplay is smooth and the sound is good, that's fine. And to be honest, the Twitch community is so freaking generous. So if you happen to, build a community of a tight-knit group of people, you've got yourself a microphone, you've got yourself a capture card, but you really want to get a webcam so they can see your wonderful face. Create yourself a tip goal so that you can buy the webcam and then you can do a face reveal or whatever other piece of tech that you need, whether it's lighting or another monitor so you can read chat better. You get the point. That is something that I love seeing on Twitch and it's something everyone's been through. I didn't start with a setup like this. I had a very humble beginning of a very, very basic setup, and seeing your setups come to life and start to really express yourself through your setup and different pieces of tech and different lighting and everything, it's really cool to see. So stop waiting to have all of the best gear and just get started. If I had to recommend a couple of things that you're definitely going to need, if you're doing gaming, you'll need a capture card, you'll need a microphone, and that's pretty much it. Obviously a computer to run the stream off. And if it's not gaming related, say it's building Legos or it's cooking or fitness, will need to be able to see you, so you'll need some kind of camera. But that's it. Don't worry about fancy lighting or these big intricate backgrounds. Just get started because again, your content at the start is not going to be that good. My next piece of advice is when it comes to choosing what you're going to stream things that you are quite confident in or things that you can commentate. Now, I don't want to make these specifically gaming related videos, but if we're talking in terms of gaming, because that's what the majority of Twitch is, find something that either you're just learning and you can vocalize a lot of things, or something that you're super knowledgeable about and you feel like you can just talk about endlessly. The difficult thing about live content is sometimes you'll be streaming for 6, 7, 8 hours, and it's not likely that you're going to be talking nonstop that entire time. And look, I'm not trying to put too much pressure on you because I did just tell you that your early content is going to be pretty crappy. But at any point in time, a new person could be tuning in and you can only make a first impression once. So it is really important to make sure that you are talking in some capacity frequently, because sometimes when I go into a new streamer, I'm trying to find someone to raid and I just sit there for like 2 minutes and they don't say a single word, I'm out. There can be some exceptions if they're, in the top 10 of a battle royale and they are like laser freaking focused, or it's a tournament or something, then it's a little bit different. But if they're playing something that should be relatively engaging and they're just like focused on it and they're just on because otherwise I'd just be playing games anyway, I feel like it's really hard to engage with that person because the viewer has to make all of the effort. That's one thing that I think is a really rough attitude that I see a lot with new streamers is they say, well, I'd be playing the game anyway, so I may as well stream it. But when you're streaming, you are putting on a show. You are showing up for your audience. So you shouldn't just be sitting back, slumped in, focusing on the game and not providing some kind of engagement. So that's why I think you should find something that you are knowledgeable in, or something that you're learning that has maybe a lot of reading, or something that you can vocalize so that when someone new comes in, it's not dead silence. For me, it was kind of natural because I started on YouTube doing YouTube commentary. So it was like the whole point of me playing games, recording with no Twitch chat to interact with, was to talk to myself and explain what I was doing in games. So for me, it was kind of a natural progression to basically just be doing live commentaries. But that doesn't really help if you don't have a YouTube background or some kind of commentary background. But basically, if you're doing something in a game, it may sound weird, but explain what you're doing and why. And if you're not doing games, if you're doing something like cooking, there is so much you can be talking about. You can talk about the ingredients, where you've seen this recipe, if it has any kind of special connection to you, ask people what their favorite dishes are, or if they've tried this specific thing. There's so much off of one topic to talk about if you start to just kind of let yourself go. So please try to make sure that you're just like talking constantly, and it may seem weird to you, but is absolutely something that will start to become more natural, and then you'll never shut up. If you need a little bit of assistance with engagement, there are things like the questions of the day bots you can have to give you a topic of the day, and you can try to get people to weigh in. But I would say be careful about adding too much of that kind of thing, because that can actually be a deterrent if there's too much automation. For me, it feels like in small communities, especially if there's too much bot chatter happening, it definitely stops me from wanting to engage. Other ways you can help bolster engagement are games with Twitch integration, or games that the community can join into, like Jackbox or Marbles. But obviously that requires, a handful of people around and available to play. One thing I will add onto this as well is to not call out your lurkers. I know that I just said engagement is super important, but Twitch has a massive lurker culture, and sometimes I am one of them. Not everyone always has a chance to chat. Some people are lurking while they're working, or lurking while they're cooking, or they just don't have the ability to chat right now, and that's totally fine. Just because people are lurking, it doesn't mean they're not enjoying what they're seeing. It just means they can't or don't want to chat right now. I've seen a lot of people kind of get in their heads about that, and I think it's something that I might elaborate a little bit more in the next video when I talk about viewer count, but let lurkers lurk. And the final piece of advice that I'll give you today is to have a consistent theme, name, and brand. Obviously, as more and more accounts are getting made, it's becoming quite difficult to have a unique username without a bunch of numbers and slashes and underscores. Where possible, make sure that your name is the same across all platforms. It makes marketing and creating images so much easier for promotions when everything is uniform. And just in terms of discoverability as well, if someone finds you on Twitch and your username's the same on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok, they're gonna have a much easier time finding you. And if you can, avoid symbols and numbers in your name because they're very hard to remember. And much like with your name, keep your branding consistent over all platforms. So have the same avatar on every platform so that if people go looking, they can recognize it at a glance. People on the internet are sometimes quite lazy and also sometimes not the brightest. So don't make it hard for them to find you. Make it consistent, have the same name and the same profile picture, and it will just be easy for you to be found across all platforms. And just like that, you made it through your first 5 things that I think you should know when you're starting streaming. I really hope this helped, whether you've started streaming or not. Maybe you've started and you just don't really know how to find your feet. I hope these helped. I hope they resonate. And this is just the beginning. I have so many ideas in my brain that I want to share. So if you like this type of content, I already do plan on making more, but it's always nice to know if people want to see it. And if you're a streamer yourself and there's something that I didn't mention today, I do already have a list of like 20 other things that I'll be mentioning in the next videos, but feel free to put them down in the comments below and I can always expand on them in the next videos. And as we are approaching the end of the video, most people have probably clicked off at this point. It's just you and me. It's just the hardcores that are left. It's just the real ones. So if you would like to apply to my team, Team Equality, we do take applications. It's not a guaranteed in. We evaluate your answers to the questions in the doc. We look at your channel, we look at your socials and make sure that you fit the vibe. If you'd like to do that, there is an application form down in the description. I really do love being a part of people's journeys, and seeing people basically fast-tracked to affiliate in the first week that they stream is so freaking cool. But like I said earlier, that is not an open invitation to come into my stream or into my Discord and tell me that you stream, or that you're gonna go stream, or that, hey, streamer, did you know that I stream? But that's where I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Again, I hope this helped, and thank you so much for still being here. I am gonna make more of these videos, so hopefully watch out for that. And if you don't already, head on over, follow me on Twitch, and we can chat about this live. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully I'll see you in my next video or in my next stream. Bye.